Good evening, everybody. I'm your host, James Mack, and welcome to MJ Comix. Tonight, I'm joined by the elusive, the enigmatic, the very, very handsome Jason Parker from Jason Parker Comics. Thank you, Jason, for joining us.
Hello, James. How are you, buddy? Thanks for having me on.
It's okay, mate. It's an absolute pleasure to have you back on.
It's good to be back, mate. I was very impressed with your breaking news, your news stint. I half expected you to be there, like shuffling some papers.
Oh, mate, that was the plan, but I turned around, there was no papers. I forgot to put some in there. Sorry. Have you seen what the headline is?
Yeah, it's true, though. It's true. Yeah.
It is, yeah. No, but I very much appreciate you for coming on, buddy. I know that we are quite very good friends, and you'd be here in the drop of a hat. But I always wanted you on from the off for this series of Let's Talk. But I really am.
I know. I've been sort of off the boil a little bit, and I'll perhaps go into a little bit more detail as to
Don't give any spoilers away.
No spoilers, but otherwise, people just go and oh, right, So let's keep them hanging on a little bit.
Yeah. But have you had a good day today, or?
Yeah, not bad, mate. Not a bad day today. I'm trying to think what I've been up to. Obviously, in work today, and then I was went out with the dog for a bit, tidied up. I'm sure I did some pricing up comics, just doing stuff like that. Really,
Oh, okay.
Nothing really exciting.
Sounds like a fun day. So we'll to be fair, I might sound a bit nasty, but I've not been very well this week, guys. So I apologise. I mean, you can probably see it in my eyes that I don't look quite great.
Well, I thought you were just like so pleased to see me, and that's why you were teary-eyed.
It's tears. So if I do get emotional tonight, guys, it is the illness. It's not Jason Parker. It's not Jason Parker. Although I am a bit disappointed because I've paid £200 for Jason to be here tonight with the presumption that it was Amanda as well, but Amanda's no show.
Yeah, well, I'll give you the £100 back, mate.
You mean 150 for Amanda? It was a £50 for you.
That's okay. It's not split down the middle. She's gone out for a little drink with her friends, and I wouldn't be surprised if she crashes the party a little bit later on. It'd be
brilliant.
Nice.
It'd be nice for her to say hello. But if we just jump in the chat before we get into the questions, we've got Pete. First, that's what the cool kids say, right? Can't stay, but we'll catch the rewind later. Have a great show, chaps. Love you. Thank you very much, Pete. Pete is actually doing a live show on his One Good Scare channel. So I didn't realise there was going to be a bit of a clash. So I apologise, Pete. I've already apologised to him this evening, but I'm sorry about that, buddy. He's also give a super chat of £10, which is amazing. Thank you for watching. Here's my first one. I did get a sticker last week, but the super chat's pretty cool. I don't have a clue what a super chat is. Does it just stay there, or I don't know what it does?
So I think it just highlights someone's comments. When you go into the comments, it stands out, so you can sort of highlight them really. And
that's incredible. Thanks. Thank you very much, Pete. We've got Ian Carter, the ever faithful Ian, in the house. Thank you, Ian, for joining us. We've got Daniel _. Thank you very much. The Egmatic Jason Parker.
Egmatic, yeah, you did say Egmatic. I didn't want to correct you.
It's all right. It's okay. To be fair, I blur all sorts of words out that just don't mean anything. But thank you, Daniel, for joining us.
You're ill.
Yeah. So we've got Jack Rollins. Thank you, Jack, for joining us. He's missed you, Jason. Jack, I have missed him as well, and I literally badger him all the time. What are you doing with your YouTube channel? What are you doing? You're doing a video, releasing a video. Sammy Jane says that she loves that intro. I was going for like the Piers Morgan Uncensored,
Yeah.
Let's go. We're going to ask Jason some difficult questions tonight.
Oh, God.
We've got my wife, Gemma. Thank you for joining us, Gemma. We've got Debbie in the house. Thank you very much for joining us. And we've got Ken. Yep. Ken, thank you very much from across the pond. Really appreciate you.
How are you, buddy?
So, Jason, I thought the most easiest question to ask you this evening would be, who the hell is Jason Parker Comics?
So it's basically a guy called Jason Parker who collects comics.
And that's in a nutshell.
Bit of a strange one, really. I'm not collecting as much as I used to, James. I'm
Yeah.
more into selling comics now. It's a bit of a weird one. I've, I used to love comics and collect them. I used to love the artwork, but it's got to a point for me now where I don't really feel that I'm in love with comics, in that I've got to keep hold of one. There's one or two definitely that I probably may not ever sell.
Yeah.
What's the dog up to? Careful, you better not be doing anything back there. But generally speaking, and if someone offered me the right price for any of my books, then I would definitely sell. However, I bought a lot of my books at the peak time, mate, right? And there's some books I look back on, like my Daredevil #1 I bought, right? It was a 2.0.
Yeah.
I spent nearly £2,000 on that, and it's now worth £1,000.
Yeah.
So I don't want to go selling that. Do you know what I mean? I'd
Yeah.
rather hold on to it until maybe prices go back up again, maybe in 20 years or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
But it's a bit galling. I mean, yeah, it is what it is, isn't it? The comic market's very much up and down, but it's just down at the moment, really.
Yeah, yeah. So in
But yeah,
terms of go on,
but sorry, yeah, but in terms of who I am, when I started, if you don't know already, I started probably about 4 years ago now, as
Yep.
most people did during COVID.
Yep.
We had we were working from home, and not a lot of people were doing much. We weren't allowed out, so Amanda again said to me, you're a 50-year-old fat man. Why don't you do something with your life? So basically, it was her idea to start all this up, and it was just meant to be a bit of fun. I didn't expect
Yeah.
much from it. And believe me, when it first started off, you can see some of the early videos. You clearly see what I didn't know what I was doing. Some may question that's still the case, but it's no, it's all a bit of fun, really, and that was what I wanted to do. Is just sort of have a bit of fun with it and just really enjoy it.
I think what really got people into your channel very early on, and what was the dynamic between you and Amanda was key, really. But it was also your enthusiasm for when you got a good grade. So
Yeah,
you quickly got like a catchphrase,
yeah. It's a
it's
9.8.
it's a 9.8, yeah. But
Yeah.
if I just quickly play a video, then you can see what I think this is probably your first video, mate.
Oh my god. Oh
So
god.
this is just a small clip of Jason unboxing one of his. I think it's probably your first comic you've ever unboxed on your channel. So
Oh my god. Here we go.
roll the clip.
Here we go. Hoping for 9.4 or more. 9.8! I can't believe it! Absolutely stoked about that. 9.8. Holy crap.
That enthusiasm would have, honestly, I think that would have people would have been really attracted to that. Not sexually, but
No, far from it. However, it was all genuine because I was so excited. I really didn't expect the grades to get them.
I think what people didn't realize was back then, no one really had like direct accounts for CGC because it was really costly, and everybody pretty much went through Scott's Collectibles back then.
Yes, that's right.
And
Yeah.
they were notorious for not telling you anything about
No.
what grade your comic got.
So when you get the books back, it was genuinely a complete surprise.
Yeah. And, a bit of a spoiler alert, obviously, if you submit your books to CGC yourself, you can actually see what grade they get before they're returned to you.
If you choose to do so, you can definitely go and see them. And sometimes the temptation's there, and I'll go and view them, and that's why I will just do a general unboxing of stuff. But if it's going to be a big book, I'd rather keep that as a surprise for me and the audience.
Yeah.
So I do have a little bit of a spoiler here, but I have got my Hulk 181 that I have, which is an 8.0.
Oh my God.
CGC. It's gone to CGC, mates. And it's gone for a signing for Roy Thomas to sign it. Because recently, in the last year, it's been recognised that he was the
He's key in the
creator of
involvement of
Wolverine.
creating. Yeah.
Yeah. So I thought, let's add some value to that book. And while we're at it, let's get CGC to clean and press the book itself.
Yeah.
And also maybe get a grade bump. Of course, it could go down. And now in this case, I'm generally not going to know. I'm not going to look, and I'm not going to know what the grade is.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping it's going to come back, with a grade bump. But when it comes back, I'll do a video pretty much straight away, and we'll see how that goes, because you cannot beat that feeling, and sharing that feeling with others as well. It's all very well, when you have a little sneaky look yourself at the grades, you do have a lot of good feelings inside, but I like to share that with people. So when that comes back, it will be one of those genuine 9.8 moments.
Yeah, amazing. No, I do hope the best for that, because I remember you bought that a few years back for quite a lot of money.
Yeah, and of course that devalued. So I'm just hoping if it gets
let's not talk about Hulk 181's devaluing, Jason, because it's depressing.
How is the one that I sold you?
I don't even want to check the value of it.
Just cry.
Yeah. But so again, I just want to say thank you for. I think we might have been friends before on your YouTube channel on Facebook.
Yeah, because I think
we were part of back then we were part of like the Facebook groups, and
if I remember, you might have bought something off me.
I think I did.
Off you.
Both. I think you bought off me, and I think you bought off me off eBay, and then when I bought something off you, I was like, oh my god, I've actually sold to you. Didn't realize that was you.
Yeah.
But I just want to say thank you, because even though we were friends beforehand, you very much, watching your channel during the pandemic when we were in lockdown, it was great entertainment. It was something that I didn't used to watch YouTube before, really, from your videos. Really,
I really didn't before the pandemic. I never really watched YouTube.
I used to watch it for a trailer, or when I needed to learn how to do something. That was literally it.
Yes, yeah.
So I didn't know there was a whole community on here, especially for comic books.
No.
And you're like watching your videos. Obviously, the history of MJ Comix was very much inspired by your videos. So I want to say thank you, and thank you for entertaining myself and Mikey when we did live streams with you, and inviting us, and becoming really good friends, to be honest. It's really nice of you to accept us into your lives.
Oh, thank you. Listen, mate, the feeling's mutual, and we've only met face to face probably. I can count on my one hand, maybe 5 times we met face to face, but it feels like I know you a lot more. You're like a brother to me, or maybe an older dad, slightly older dad. I don't know, or younger dad.
Like a fun uncle.
Yeah, that's right. One of the two.
One of the two. What I want to say is, mate. I'll go on, sorry.
Go on.
No, I was gonna be a bit soppy, but I was just gonna say, a couple of years ago, something happened in my life, and I had like a bit of a void, a hole in my life, where I used to call somebody on my way home from work, or whenever I needed somebody, and you've kind of replaced that. You're always there when I call you on the phone, and I just want to thank you for that, mate, because your friendship means a hell of a lot. Sorry, mate.
No,
I just want to say thank you.
Oh, mate, listen, I consider you as my best friend. I really do, and I mean that. And
that's
I honestly, that's because I got no other friends, but no, I really do. I mean, we speak most days, and when we're not, we're messaging each other, and there's a proper bromance, isn't it? But you're a great friend to me, and hopefully we can see. We'll be seeing each other soon with the QCon that we've got coming on, or the Comic March in July. But I'll hopefully be coming up Birmingham way very soon to see you guys anyway. So
brilliant. No, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, that's a bit soppy, but thank you everybody for sticking with us while we just basically said we love each other. But yeah.
Here come the comments.
Ken has asked, what's the biggest book you two own? We'll get into that, Ken, if you don't mind. That's a bit of a section further down this interview, but I appreciate you asking the question. It will arise. Daniel has put Kiss Kiss Kiss. Yeah. He's just jealous. He wants to come on.
Yeah. Make it a three-way.
So Jace, I know you said that your tastes have changed. You don't really see yourself as collecting anymore, but what do you kind of collect? The books that you do keep.
So I started off like most people do with modern books because, let's face it, they're the cheapest books to collect, and I love the covers and love the artwork. But as you get on, tastes change. You save up a bit of money, you sell some comics, and then you sell those to buy what you really want. And I got into Silver Age and Bronze Age books, but I've just started delving my toe into Golden Age goodness, and they're super expensive, mate. That's the only problem. It's a big slippery slide, a big hole to go down. But I think it's just something about the artwork and the fact that some of these books, are 70, 80 years old. You're thinking to yourself, some of these books have survived 2 world wars or one world war and all these different wars. It's gone through so much time, seen so much history, and yet some books are, again, in incredible condition. One of the books that I do have is a pedigree book, and it's Captain Marvel Adventures. I think it's number 7 or 8. I can't remember. Pedigree book from 1940.
Wow!
And you just think to yourself, "Wow!" And mate, it's a 7.5. And that's one of the books that's actually gone off to CGC as well, because I do like the new label for pedigree books. I don't know what guys in the chat think, but the label for pedigree books, it's got like that bronze sort of
look. Yeah.
It looks beautiful. So I'm hoping that's going to get a great bump as well. But it looks beautiful in that. So it's the artwork. The fact that, I for me, as the thumbnail probably suggests, my big thing is horror books. And for modern books, I was collecting things like the Creepshow books, and then you had Ice Cream Man and Ha Ha, which is the clown one. So I've always been into horror, and of course, back in the 50s, there were all these amazing covers from horror comic books, which are pretty grotesque, Some like hanging was one where guys
considering they've just gone through like a world war, and it's supposed to be like the peaceful time in the 50s.
Yes. Strange time in America in the 50s, wasn't it? With communism and this feeling of paranoia as well. So and aliens as well. And was it aliens or was it the Ruskies?
Yeah. So I think, what is it, 1947, where it was the Roswell, New Mexico incident. So I think pretty much after that there was a lot of sightings of
and Area 51 and all very mysterious stuff. And growing up watching a lot of horror films and sci-fi films, it seemed like to be a natural way in for me from a comic book. So to have that love of comic books and also horror films, merge them together. And what have you got? You've got your EC comic horror books, the Golden Age pre-code horror.
Yeah. So it's fair to say that you are pretty much into collecting Golden Age comics.
Yes.
Pre-code horror comics.
Yeah. That wouldn't stop me from still buying or collecting certain Silver Age books, and Bronze, as long as they're keys. But yeah, that's definitely something that but I suppose my tastes are changing. I think Golden Age is probably going to be the next next thing?
Well, I've got to say, I've always resisted even remotely attempting to collect golden age just because of how like expensive they are. I always found them too rich for my blood.
Yeah, yeah.
But I thought this past couple of months, I thought, you know what, I'll buy my first golden age book. So my first golden age book is actually landing tomorrow. So that will be a
Wow.
future video.
Oh, mate. Well
which
done.
I think I can't wait to get it. And then, funny enough, you should mention a pedigree. I've actually bought my first pedigree book as well. It's
Oh,
that's
good,
arrived
yeah.
today as well.
Wow.
But
Well, I can't wait to see a video on that, mate.
yeah. But that's a bit of an experiment because it was a cheap pedigree book that I want to send off to CGC, get it pressed and cleaned, and get
Yeah.
it regraded.
Okay.
So,
Well, we won't talk about that too much because it'll spoil it for your video. But are you pleased with it?
yeah. I am. Yeah, it's quite high grade to be fair, so I'm quite happy with it.
Great.
And I find it really interesting as well with pedigrees because on the CGC website, you can actually go through the pedigree collections and they'll tell you there's examples of why it's that part, why it's you know that particular collection, because it's got like, I think like your Captain Marvel Adventures one, it's got like a P on it, is it, for the
Yeah, from the
Pennsylvania?
Pennsylvania collection. That's
Yeah.
right.
There's all little ways that they distinguish how those
Yeah.
comics come from those collections, and I think it's a really
There's one that's
interesting.
like a number 8, isn't there? And I can't remember what one that's for.
Yeah,
But yeah, there's lots of different, which to the untrained eye, you would think someone's just drawn on it.
yeah. I think it's an interesting concept as well. If you can go out there hunting comics and know exactly what to look for, you may find one of these books in the
Absolutely.
wild.
Yeah. Quite right. Without realizing it. Yeah. So yeah, it's amazing.
Hold on, so I just got a cough.
Oh, okay. I'll fill in for you.
My apologies. So we've got a couple of comments that we'll just go through. So we've got
Let's
Jack.
do it.
Sad seeing this wall empty behind you, Jason. Hopefully you can come
Oh,
back in love with comics and fill it back up.
yeah.
Yeah. I
Well,
mean, to be fair,
there are comics in there. They're full of comics, but they're all for sale. So
yeah.
my slabs have gone down considerably, mate, to be honest with you. I think at one point I probably had 300 odd slabs. In total at the moment, I've probably got only about 40 or 50, something like that. So they have been whittled down and dotted around the room. There are lots of boxes that need to be unboxed, mate. So I've got some from CGC, some that I bought from Instagram, and also privately and through Facebook Marketplace and eBay as well. So there's lots of books there that are just
Yeah.
waiting to be unboxed. I just can't get around and pull my finger out and start filming some stuff. And so at this point, actually, I want to thank you because we can go into a bit more detail later, but
Yeah.
it's been like a few months before I'd released a video, and you really encouraged me to get off my ass and actually do a video. And the last one I did, I released last week. And if it hadn't
Done really
been
well.
for you, I still wouldn't have done it. There'd been complications in that I'd done the video almost, and then my computer crashed. I lost all the footage. And I'd done all the editing. It just needed the final touches, and I lost it all, and it was really demoralizing. So
Yeah.
it got to a point for me where I thought, stuff it. Do you know what I mean? But after speaking to you, and yeah, you nagged me, but I needed a nagging to be fair.
Yeah.
And if it wasn't for you, mate, I wouldn't have done that video. So thank you so much. You've given me the impetus now to sort of carry on and do some more videos. So thank you.
No, mate, it's you don't never have to thank me. It's rather selfishly, I just want to watch your videos. So
Thank you, buddy.
so that's
Thank you.
we've got I totally agree, Jack. It is I remember when you had those back walls completely full of amazing books. Hope to see
there's
that
some great
someday.
keys there, wasn't there? I remember the ASM 238 and the 300, and
We've got another super sticker. Thank you very much, Sammy Jane.
Oh wow, Sammy Jane.
We've got a really good question here. Why do you think you fell out of love with collecting? But if we just hold fire with that, because that is that's pretty much coming up. If that's your deadline.
Thanks, Jim. Good question.
And then great question. John Bromley, thank you for joining us. Good evening, James and Jace. Hope you guys are well. Thank you very much.
Oh, thanks, John. Cheers, mate. Again, we'll talk about that a bit later.
And we've got Rich from Swift Cards, Swift Sports Cards. Thank you for joining us, Rich. Hope you're well as well.
Hey, Rich. Thanks for joining us, buddy.
So in terms of, I might as well just get straight to this now, because I think that maybe some of the viewers watching don't really know what pre-code horror books are. So can you give a bit of an explanation what pre-code horror comics are?
Yeah, so back in 1954, there was a chap. He was a German chap. I think his name was Frederick Wertham or Wertham. He published a book called Seduction of the Innocent. And he felt that there were comic books were getting a little bit out of hand, in that they were being very graphic, sexual, and having a really bad influence on children, turning them into maniacs. So the comic publishers got together and voluntarily came up with a Comics Code Authority, which is the stamp that you always see in the top right-hand corner of the comic now. It's a stamp of approval saying that, this is not going to be, it sets certain standards. So because of that, books prior to that, right, obviously weren't made like they were before. So I think that's part of the appeal of them. It's like forbidden fruit. A lot of these books were considered grotesque and even banned in some countries, and as a result, makes them even more collectible.
Of course,
yeah, and the fact that because of their age, there's less of them around, also helps push the price up on them as well. Flipping heck, but one big difficulty with pre-code horror books is trying to find a book that hasn't had some sort of restoration done to it. You're always taking a risk when buying a raw book.
Yeah.
If the book's already been graded, then thank God, if there'd been any restoration, CGC or CBCS would have identified any little bits of, restoration.
Yeah.
To the untrained eye, i.e. me, I could pick up a book and think, oh, that looks good. Let's get it sent off to CGC and come back with a purple label. And there are a lot of books apparently that during that period were restored, because people didn't like the spine ticks, so they coloured them in, and just put their own sort of artistic flair on them, I suppose.
It's the same with Golden Age books, isn't it? There's a lot of restoration to them.
Absolutely. Yeah. So, but that's the whole thing about pre-code horror books. So it's before books had that Comics Code of Authority stamp on it.
Yeah. So I mean, there's it happened to Marvel, didn't it, with Amazing Spider-Man with the drug storyline? Was it involving Harry Osborn?
Yeah. Was it 97, 98,
98? Yeah. 97, 98 maybe. Yeah.
Because there was drugs involved, they didn't put the stamp on, did they?
Yeah, but I think I don't know if that Marvel got applauded, I think, for that storyline, didn't they? Because it was cutting edge. It was cutting edge, wasn't it?
Yeah. And let's face it, back in there, because that was the 70s, wasn't it? Something like maybe early 70s.
There was clearly a drug problem.
Massive. And comics testing is right as well. I mean, one of the worst type of restoration you can get. Color touch is one thing, right? Trimming is the worst type of restoration you can get.
Yeah.
Because I always wondered why. Why is it? Because
why do people do
you're
it?
making the book neater, aren't you? But you're losing a part of that book forever.
Yeah.
All right, it's millimeters, but it's never the whole book, and you'll never ever get that back ever.
Yeah,
it's horrible. Edge trimming, God, blimey.
Ken has said nothing better than reading a classic horror comic.
Absolutely, mate. Yeah. And again, Tales from the Crypt, Vault of Horror. These are the sort of books. Shock suspense stories, crime suspense stories. And there's a few in the Haunt of Fear. Lots of these sort of easy horror books I was a massive fan of. And again, the artwork. What's the one? There's that classic one in the comic suspense. Crimes. Is it Crime Suspense or Shock Suspense 22 with a decapitated head?
Oh yeah. There's a Wolverine cover of that, isn't it? Like a homage.
That's right. Yeah, homage. But is this Sabretooth head? Is it?
Sabretooth, yeah.
Yeah.
But have you got a horror book to just show people who maybe don't know?
Yeah, now these books that I've got, they're not super high grade because you're talking mega bucks. But let's get rid of the glare on that there. So this is only 3.0.
That's lovely. That is.
Yeah.
Is that a strangulation cover? Is it
strangulation cover? Yeah. Of course, the big books as well is the headlights. Yeah, they call them the headlights, but it's basically big-breasted women. And also bondage covers. That's look at that. I mean, that's just
yeah, they're great covers, absolutely great covers.
Yeah, and there's a couple as well. This is pretty grotesque one here.
Comics tested and saying it counts as a partial book for the trimming.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And Daniel _ says just search pre-code horror. Crime Suspense Stories, issue number 19 has me cracking up. Do you know what that one is?
Crime Suspense 19?
Yeah.
Crime Suspense 19. I think I know that one. Let me see if I can. Let me Google it.
That's awesome. Let me have a look. Crime Suspense. Daniel's making us do some work here.
I know. Good.
I'm asking you. You're supposed to be the expert.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, we go. Issue number 19. It's a green cover. Oh, it's got two hands strangling somebody underwater.
But is that the one with the right? There's one that's underwater, and there's one where
underwater,
this woman is in the boat as well, and she's been like he's on the boat and she's on the boat. He's got a head over, but yeah, that's the one underwater. I think 19. This one is like, I mean, it's like all hanging. This is a 3.0, but funny enough, this cover is detached.
For you feet lovers will love that one.
Oh, they love them, mate. This class is a hanging cover.
Yeah.
But I do have comic coming soon with the execution cover of a guy shooting.
Oh wow!
Pretty grotesque. Here's one here I got.
Here's one I made earlier. Is that a green label?
Yeah.
Ugh.
I know, but
that is gross.
Shock Suspense Stories 3.5 qualified because the second wrap is missing. Okay. The way I see it, I'm not going to read it anyway, am I? Because it's stuck in a case. But
you want the cover ultimately? Yeah, that's what you want.
This is an electrocution cover.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so this is the first book that came out for Shock Suspense Stories.
And these books aren't cheap. Let's be honest, are they?
No, they're not, mate. I had this for a right bargain. I think that's for 120 quid. It's I can't complain. Yeah, that's why it qualifies, I guess. But yeah, Mystic is another series. I tell you what I got as well, mate. Don't worry, I am wearing trousers.
Good job, sir.
Look at this.
Is that a werewolf?
No, alien, I think. Tales of Suspense number 4.
Oh, lovely.
Now, this is before Marvel became Marvel Comics.
Are they timely? Are they timely or Atlas or what are they?
Yeah, Atlas, yeah.
Oh, cool.
And this is a 5.5. Picked this up super cheap as well, mate.
Nice. So there are some bargains.
You've got to shop around. You've got to know where to go, to be fair.
Yeah.
We've
got a question here, Jason. I hope you don't mind being asked it. We've got what did you two think of that Welsh guy's rant on Sticky Goose's channel?
Good question.
Very good question. Do you want to start?
Yeah. The chap was called Steve Brookman. I know him quite well. He's bought a lot of comics off me in the past, and we've had quite a few conversations.
It's Jason's son, everybody.
Yeah.
His love child.
My love child. My secret love child. No, he's a nice guy, and he's very friendly. But I think if you cross him and he's not happy, he'll let you know. Do you know what I mean? And
Or put it on YouTube and
you put on
you
his
know,
rant on YouTube. Yeah,
send it.
I like Sticky Goose's video because uh, what I like about Sticky Goose, he's very reactionary. So he does a lot of reaction videos, doesn't he? And I
Yes.
like that, and he'll sort of point out things that we may not ordinarily notice in
Yeah.
videos.
Of course, yeah. And I
Yeah.
think the observation as well from an American is pretty like that. Our humor, well, his humor is very much aligned to the British humor, so he thoroughly enjoyed it, and then
Cheapest chips.
cheapest chips.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I do have some news actually. So on the same evening that did you say his name, Steve?
Yes.
Steve. That Steve contacted Sticky Goose. He also sent me the video,
Did he?
but yeah, but I don't do what Sticky does and
No,
release.
but Sticky beat you to it.
No. I mean, I wouldn't have released a video and talked
No,
about it,
no. He's got a different
but
style as Mr. Goose, doesn't he?
yeah, but yeah. So I've had an interesting conversation with Steve, and he's a nice lad. So yeah, I thought the video was hilarious. Both hit on the rant on his own,
Yeah.
and then obviously what Sticky did with it. But it's that line when he goes, what does he say? He goes, I mean, I'm cheap, but I'm not that bloody cheap.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
I love that line.
Interesting.
Classic.
What was your thoughts on the video? What did you think of it? Let us know.
What's What's really interesting, if you look at the comments on Sticky Goose's video, on Daniel's video, there's a lot of people saying they're from the UK, watch his channel.
Yes, yeah, yeah. Now that says a lot about Sticky Goose, and then what you said about his sort of sense of humour, how it perhaps is in tune with the British. So I think,
Yeah.
'cause let's face it, look, right? He's controversial. I mean, one of his videos he's done recently is I hope all comic values go crash and go to zero or something like that, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Right. So that's him, isn't it?
Yeah.
But he is controversial, and he's got a way of his style of videos. Some people are going to like him. Some people aren't going to like him. I personally, I like him. I think he's really funny. He
I
makes me
think
laugh.
what you got to remember is us Brits, we love to complain,
Yeah, we
whereas I
do.
don't think do you think?
Yeah, I don't think perhaps Americans complain as much as we do.
As we do, yeah.
Well, maybe you guys do, and
I don't
but
know, man.
we are the king of complainers. Although we're thought to be overly polite. When we go out for a meal and we've had a bad meal, I very rarely complain to the people about it. I'll have a moan
No,
to Amanda afterwards.
yeah. I mean, but Jason, I mean, one time I found a fuse in Gemma's food.
A
I mean,
fuse.
yeah, like an actual fuse from
Oh, from a plug.
from a plug, yeah. I think there was a couple in there.
Right, go on. What's the punchline?
No, mate, honestly, there's no punchline. We were at a family meal and we all got, I think we all got like a discount and all the desserts were free.
And
But
what
it
was it,
must have
though?
been like, like the heating lamps above or something. It must have been
Yeah.
dropped from there onto the food. I don't know.
Oh my god.
I know. But yeah, I'm trying to think of a punchline here, but I literally can't think of one.
No, no.
But
You should have refused to eat it. Sorry.
Comics testing has said that it was hilarious. Pre-hero suspense.
Oh yeah, pre-code. Yeah, for the
Pre-code.
superheroes, really, wasn't it? Yeah,
The rant was hilarious.
it was. Yeah,
To be fair, I watched it with my wife.
yeah.
I put it on to show her just to see how funny it was. Are pre-horrors hard to find in the UK, and are they pence copies or US
Excellent
cents?
question. I don't
In the
think I've
States,
come.
in the
I
States,
think
some pence books are more valuable. Is it vice versa in the UK?
right. Yeah, I don't think I've seen many Pence copy. Um, Golden Age pre-code stuff. It tends to be cents only, and they are hard to come by in the UK. And a lot of stuff I bought has been from the US.
Yeah.
But again, eBay being eBay and the fees that they charge and shipping and stuff like that, it just adds to the cost exponentially. So when you go to a comic mart, like I went to one in London, and there was a guy selling pre-code horror books, slabs. I was over the moon. I was really pleased because he had stacks of them, but he was charging a fortune.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one. It's a difficult one.
An actual fuse. It's official. She's backing me up here.
Yeah,
Must have been from the heating lamp in James's pocket. It was a shocking experience. It was a very shocking experience. Good pun there.
Nice one. Thanks.
Ken has said, I thought it was a good rant, very reasonable, a little bit sad, as Sticky said, but also funny. One of the best videos I've seen, lol. Didn't you go to that store where he had a falling out? Didn't you go like the next day, Jason?
I did, right? With every intention of seeing what he's like, catching him out and trying for him to be absolutely horrible to me.
Yeah.
And when I turned up, I had my video camera, and he said, "What are you doing there?" I said, "Oh, do you mind if I film? I got a YouTube channel, and I do some filming." He said, "Oh, yes, yeah, no problem." And he was absolutely lovely to me.
Yeah.
Right? Now yeah, go on.
I was going to say, for anybody watching, so basically there is a bit of a, like I'm putting this can I do a video on YouTube? You do get a little bit of preferential treatment, like you obviously did.
If it benefits them, because it's every business wants to have some free advertising.
Yeah.
So if that business then and the business owner comes across as a really nice guy and gets, I'm not saying I'm going to get loads of views. I think I only had about 1,000 views, something like that, right? But it reaches out to the comic community, both in the UK and the US. And I think if that guy can get free advertising for him, right, then he's going to be on his best behavior, isn't he?
Of course, yeah. Of course.
And that's exactly what it was. I was going in expecting to have a fight with him. I've got to be honest with you. And I had my camera rolling and everything. And when he was nice as pie to me, I was a bit disappointed.
Yeah, I was going to say, you're almost a little bit disappointed because you kind of think that maybe for content wise, it might be better.
Yeah,
to have a
absolutely. And look, I don't like bashing other comic sellers, but my feelings on certain ones. One is closed down now. Comic Guru, he's gone. And this one in Pontypridd, Unit 74, which I've just said the name. Anyway, it's out there now. Steve Brookman, he was ranting about it. I do feel like I want to go there again.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what happened as well. When I put that video out, I portrayed it very positively.
Yeah.
Because he didn't, to be fair, at the time, he wasn't horrible to me.
Yeah.
I thought maybe Steve just had a bad experience. But then people started leaving comments on my video about, why are you going there? The guy is horrible. He's an idiot. He's this and that. He's rude. He's aggressive. He's mean. And I thought, oh, flipping heck. It seems like I'm just being nice about this guy for my video. When really, let's be fair, it would have been a better video for me if it'd been horrible.
Of course, yeah.
But he was nice to me. But I do feel like going back, James, to be honest with you, and sort of, because he I don't know if he was like kind of a threat, right? But the owner of the shop contacted me and he said, "Look at all these videos, all these comments on your video. I want you to remove them now, or if you don't, you can take down the video."
Oh, really?
Yeah. I said, "I'm not taking down the video." He said, "These people making all these comments, it's affecting my mental health." Well, part of me thinks, well, maybe if you're a nicer person, then
Yeah.
that wouldn't be an
Don't
issue for
watch
you.
the
Do you know what
video.
I mean? So
That's
he
crazy. I
was.
didn't know that.
Oh, didn't I? Oh, yeah. So he was kind of threatening me and saying, look, and I did say, look, I said I don't like negative comments, and I will delete a lot of the negative comments. So I deleted them. But every time I deleted them, there'd be new negative comments coming up,
Ah,
and
yeah,
I find it difficult to sort of just keep my eye on the ball of every single video, of every single comment that's made,
yeah,
and filter them out. So I did. If you go to that video now, I've pinned. I think I pinned a comment to say, whoever's, can you please, if you're going to leave a comment about this video, please can you be respectful,
yeah.
uh, polite, and try avoid anything negative. But that people are still just leaving negative comments, and I've stopped doing it now. People can just leave their comments, and
I think that was part of my conversation with that Steve when I was speaking to him about it. He asked me if I ever had a negative experience at a comic shop, and I said, of course, I've had plenty. But instead of doing a video, I've just chose not to do a video on it because it's not
yeah,
my style really to stag people off because I'm not defending anybody here, but you don't know if that person's just having a bad day, they've had some bad news, and it's
yeah,
their livelihood.
yeah,
So I don't want to impact on that. If what little power I don't or influence that I have, I wouldn't want to do that to somebody, but I just wouldn't promote them. That's literally that's just me.
and that's fair enough. Yeah, and that speaks volumes, doesn't it? Because you've done a lot of videos of going out to different toy shops, comic shops in your area.
Yeah.
So if there's a comic shop in your area that you haven't done, then that says a lot, doesn't it? And that owner must be thinking, "Oh, why
Yeah.
have they been to me?" Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Says a
That's
lot.
true. But again, that's why I haven't done a video just because I've had a bad experience there or a negative experience. So it's one of the things. But if we had a really great question earlier about we just try and go back in the chat and find it. It was, why do you think you fell out of love with collecting? Now, sorry for the coughing there. I think that probably goes hand in hand with this question here that I've put at the bottom of the screen where has your focus changed from YouTube to selling comics in the past year, I would say?
Yeah, yeah. That's right. They do go hand in hand. To be fair, um, I think I've become a little bit jaded with YouTube. It got to a point where I was doing videos and like I say, I'm not doing it for monetary gain, right? Because I'm going to be honest with you, what with all the software that I use and um, you know, I was paying for StreamYard and things like that. I
Subscriptions
was
to OnlyFans and stuff like that.
yeah. I was spending more than I was making, right? So, but that's fine because it's not for me. It wasn't about the money. It was trying to reach out to as many people as possible, and I think I was at one point. Yeah, it's about your content, but it's also about YouTube's algorithm. And there's been a lot of talk recently about YouTube's algorithm. I think a lot of it's to do with shorts that have recently come in and how they monetize the shorts and promoting shorts over long form videos.
Yeah.
And I was literally only getting maybe 200-300 views on some videos.
Yeah.
That affected things. Um, but at the same time, I also saw a future in perhaps making some money from comics if
Yeah.
possible. Because especially at the time when comic prices were going through the roof, because I bought a lot of comics before they went
Me too.
high,
Yeah.
but I also bought when they were high as well, so it kind of balances out. And my focus shifted then from doing YouTube and collecting to actual selling, and it's kind of just started off really at my local train station, just of all places, in the cafe there, setting up a little stall, advertising it locally, and people would come initially in their droves to buy some comics, and I bought a display stand, and the guy Al who ran the coffee shop, he was brilliant. You know, he let me have the run of the place.
Yeah.
And that would be on a Saturday morning, you know, once a month. And then there was different comic fairs that would be coming up. And I think one of the very first comic fairs I did was in Hereford about 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Run by Andy from Q's Comics, which was a fantastic event. And you came along to that, didn't you? You did come
I did,
along.
yeah. Came with the family. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've been to the last two.
You have. Well, and then you were at the Comic Mart as well, weren't you? You
Yeah.
sold the comics at the last one.
The Comic Mart's good, very good.
Yeah. Hereford was so busy, and I think there must be a lot of money in Hereford. So it's and a lot of like-minded people, which is great because that's what you need. A lot of enthusiasm. There was, and I got the bit of a bug then, mate. That's what it was. It was like, why am I holding on to these comics when I could possibly make some money from them?
Yeah.
You know? And
do you think then when you buy comics now, is in the back of your head, you're thinking, oh, if I come to sell it, I could probably make some money?
Yes, there is that. Because I do try, was before I would, you know, I used to spend, mate, I'll be honest with you, I used to spend hundreds and hundreds of pounds each month on comics.
Yeah.
Primarily people like Sad Lemon, Slab City, getting all these variants in my mind, thinking that these are great books, great covers. I'm going to make so much money off these.
Yeah.
And as you know, these books don't hold their value. And the hype dies down on them. And I'd be paying 50 quid for a trade and Virgin variant of some Venom 27 or something.
Yeah.
You know, and then I got it for sale now as a set for 10 quid. You know, for both of them. Take a massive hit on it.
I think what's crazy is when you look at the comic book market, it's just so many homages to, you know, iconic covers.
Yeah.
You know, that they just throw out every single week.
There's a lack of imagination.
Oh, 100%. And I'll be brutally honest, I don't find that the modern books, the art is anywhere near what it used to be.
No. The last thing that stood out to me were the Patrick Gleason covers.
Yeah, but he's very distinguished. That those are very much like his own.
They were different, weren't they?
Yeah.
And again, to be fair, the John Tyler Christopher, I know they're not your thing, but the negative space variants for John Tyler Christopher, I do love those.
But it's almost as if like the comic publishers are basically just like, you know what, throw out a foil or a facsimile. That will do well this week because we've not really got anything else that's going to sell us. And then you just go to a comic shop now, and they're just literally facsimiles or foils of old comics.
But I'm also seeing facsimiles of not very big books at all, like low key comics. Just why are you churning these out? Why that's not deserving of a facsimile cover, as far as I'm concerned. You know, it's beyond. If you've got like Fantastic Four #1, you know, your big key books, do the facsimiles of those. I'm sure I saw a facsimile of a Amazing Spider-Man 265 or something for Silver Sable. I thought, why on earth would you have a facsimile of a book like that, really? You know what I mean? When it's so readily available, quite cheap as well.
Well, it's like, I mean, for anybody watching, I don't know whether anybody else did the VEVE comics, not the digital comics.
Oh, mate,
Jesus.
Don't.
That was the biggest scam going in the world. Honestly.
I'm dreading
and
it.
They're still emailed to say get your weekly comics. Like, these comics are coming. They're all absolute trash. Why would anybody be remotely interested in that? That must have gone down massively in value.
So we bought around about the same time, didn't we? And I think I bought 2 or 3 virtual comics, which is crazy. You know, you're not buying anything really, but yeah, you know, I think I probably spent probably maybe $100, maybe on the 3 books. I don't know, $80 to $200. Last time I looked must have been about a year and a half ago, and they were pretty much worthless.
Yeah.
Back then, I don't even know. I can't even. I've got the balls to look now, mate. I would say
the thing is as well. I think you've got to have a minimum of £500 worth in there to withdraw anyway.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Yeah, really bad.
Absolutely, it's disgusting. It's the biggest scam going. But yeah, I mean, I remember it was. I think what attracted me to it was there was an element of there was certain rarities of books, but it was all like trying to bid. It was trying like to get on at the right time and try and at least win one.
Yeah,
if you remember, like the drops or whatever.
You had to be quick, didn't you? You had to get in. But do you remember, because we were living in the UK,
it was like a delay.
There was a delay, and the US people would always get the best covers first. You know, we never got the opportunity to get like a rare variant, which again, it was just a mass marketing ploy for nothing. You get nothing to show for it.
I remember actually winning one of the drops, and then straight afterwards, it was less than what you paid for it. Like
straight away.
Straight away, I was just like, "This is ridiculous. What is the point of this app anyway?" But yeah, so effectively, because you are now selling comics, your taste has changed in terms of collecting.
Yes, yeah. There's been
I think I was going to say, I think what the big thing, the take from it is that when you're a collector, you treasure that piece. But if when you trade in so many and whatever, you don't grow as attached, so it's easily to part with, maybe.
No, that's right. I suppose if you can liken it to farming, I suppose, or if you've got puppies, Jeremy Clarkson's farm. So it's like, you
got some pigs.
Yeah, but then you try not to
Don't
get
grow
too
too attached
because they're going to go off and try not, yeah. But the other reason why I've been sort of off the boil a little bit with YouTube, because I've had some health problems, and a couple of probably about 2 months ago now, I picked up an injury on my knee, and I had to go to a consultant to check it out because it hasn't been healing. I can't walk, and it turns out I have partial knee surgery.
Oh man, I'm sorry.
So I'm basically my cartilage is worn away. So I've got to I had an MRI scan, and it's basically bone on bone now. So I'm having difficulty moving. So I haven't been able to get out of the house much, to be perfectly honest with you, which in turn is affecting my mental health as well. Because you kind of there's a sense of isolation to a certain degree because you're not getting out and about as much as you want to. I can probably walk a couple of minutes, but each step is painful. But hopefully, I'm going to have a cortisone injection at some point, and then surgery when I come back off holiday.
Well, I wish you all the best in health, Matt. I feel for you, and I don't want you to be in any pain or anything, mate. I'm sorry.
Thanks, mate. Yeah, it's constant pain. The amount of medication I'm on at the moment, I rattle as I walk. It's I'm taking about 10 different tablets a day. Oh my god!
Is that Amanda?
Yeah. She just went up to the window and scared me. She thinks it's funny.
We've got Dan saying that. Oh, hold on. We've got a couple of here. We've got
Amazing Spider-Man 130.
Yeah. Hold on, I've missed a few comments out here. I apologise. Comics Testing has said, do you sell books at all, or you only collect? I think we answered that.
Yeah.
Ian Carter has said, "You both got me collecting again, much but to my wife's disgust."
Sorry,
Well,
Ian.
we're sorry, but we're also kind of like privileged.
Not sorry.
Not sorry. Comics modern homage homage covers Psy and 1,000 number ones. Yep, brilliant. And then we've got Ken. Have you made over £1 million profit from the time you started selling comics up to until now, Jason? If you don't mind me asking, Ken.
If you don't mind me asking,
we've got the tax man watching, man. You know,
yeah, Ken. No, I really wish I had. Flipping heck, I'd be doing my live show from Barbados or somewhere, I suppose.
Yeah, from a bar somewhere in the Caribbean or something.
Yeah, because pure, pure transparency here. I am a registered business and declare everything to the tax man. But the first couple of years were a big loss because I was buying so much comics, so many comics, so much stock, and wasn't selling as much as I'd hoped. But things have turned a corner. I'm going to a profit now. But it is a shock when you realize how much you spend in comics each year. I think to myself, I could have bought myself an amazing Fancy 15 if I'd have just not bought all these little comics. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
it's a weird one. I mean, it's probably the same for you, James. If you had throughout a particular year, the amount you spend on comics, I know your wife's watching, but you could probably, if you added up, you'd be shocked.
Oh, of course, yeah. I think I'd probably be disgusted in myself, maybe.
Yeah. But then you've sold comics as well, so it's kind of sort of balances out a little bit for you. But it's surprising how much things mount up. Comics aren't cheap.
Yeah.
It's an expensive business.
Yeah. Daniel has put, I'm anxiously waiting for the homage of Amazing Spider-Man 130, which is the first Spidey-mobile. It's amazing how it's coming up.
Brilliant. Yeah. Where is Mikey?
I don't know where he is. Marvel digital subscription is good if you're not wanting to damage your valuable books by pulling them out. Very true. Digital comics are good to read, so you don't have to damage your own books. Very true.
Can I ask a question here? Do you find the digital comics easy to read?
Yeah. Probably more easily accessible than reading in a big graphic novel format, maybe.
So it's just that I've tried reading some books before on my iPhone, and it's terrible. And I tried an iPad, and that didn't really work out for me.
I think it's better on the. I think it's very difficult on an iPhone. I think it's a bit small.
Yeah, because sometimes when you move on to the next page, it just goes to the panel rather than the whole page. Do you know what I mean? It zooms in, which I like. It's dynamic. But sometimes it doesn't. When I was doing it, it wasn't flowing that well, and it was missing certain bits of the storyline as well. So maybe I was just doing it wrong.
Yeah, because you have that thing where you can tap and it just goes to the next panel.
That's it. Yeah.
Sean Manning, welcome Sean for joining us evening. Thank you very much. He's put the NMN. Oh my god,
Go on, say it.
I can't say it. I can't say it. Cover a good example.
I'm not going anywhere until you say it right.
Eminem.
Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
Eminem.
Yeah.
The collectors always evolve. Very true. Right, you are, Sean. And Sean has Ian has put laugh my water off. Yeah. Amanda is here, but she's not come to say hello.
No, okay.
He's calling her out. He's screaming, Amanda.
Yeah, don't worry. I'll get
it. Let's get on to the next question. Bit of a soppy one.
Oh, okay.
What is the most rewarding aspect of being on YouTube for you?
Well, it's certainly not the money, is it, mate? Let's face it.
No.
it's the recognition. You know, this is weird, right? I love meeting people when I go to different comic fairs and things like that, and they say, "Oh, I recognize you off YouTube." I love that. Um, I love being recognized. I guess because that's
Yeah.
not my ego, I suppose, right?
Yeah.
Um, I and I'd like to think it's me being as approachable. It was weird. I was in America last year. I was in Florida, and I got back to my hotel, and I had a message from an American who
Yeah.
said, "Hi there. I saw you in Disney World, or in Epcot, I think I was in."
Oh yeah.
And he said, "I saw you, and I watched you on YouTube, but I didn't come over and say hello." I said, "Oh, well, why didn't you? I would have loved that, you know." So it's just weird. It's just like you go to America and you get. It's just
Yeah.
to get recognized is incredible, you know. And I'm only a small channel, and you got your
Yeah.
big boy channels out there, haven't you? Like Comic Tom and all that. So
Yeah.
for little old me to be recognized, I love that. And it's about meeting like-minded people, you know, people who've got the same interests and hobbies as
Yeah.
me, and a love and a passion, sharing that with people. I love it, mate. I do. It's fantastic.
It's a bit.
And
It's a
that's
bit
just
like what.
me being selfish. That's from that perspective.
Yeah. It's a bit like when I Pete on the other week when he was talking about he didn't realize that he would actually make genuine friends doing this.
Yeah. Oh, that as well.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, that as well. So first of all, it was the money, the women, and the recognition.
Then maybe the friendships.
And maybe it was the friendships. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, brilliant. No, I totally agree. It is nice when you people do kind of recognize you. It makes you kind of think that what you are like reaching something out there. You know, you're
Yeah.
grasping something.
Because let's be fair, right? I know people can leave comments, right? But how often do people actually do that? Not as much as they should. So it's really nice to get the feedback off people. Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? That
No.
way, if I'm doing something that can be improved on, they can tell me there and then as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And no, I think that is very true. I do really appreciate genuinely when people leave comments on videos. Just because it's nice to know that that person's watched it, and and if they leave something meaningful on it as well, in terms of it's something that's happened during the video, it's really appreciative.
Yeah.
So Jason, the next question I got for you is, how did you get into collecting comics? Did you
Uh,
were you like when you were young, or were you an
yeah,
adult, or
I always read like Star Wars and Spider-Man when I was a kid. My mum used to buy me the Star Wars comics,
yeah,
but it was the UK weekly ones, you know, the slightly bigger ones, almost magazine size, I suppose. Yeah, I always used to read lots of comics, and my dad had some comics as well from the 60s and stuff. So I read some of those. I
yeah,
remember reading some Silver Surfer books and Thor books and things like that. And then it you grow up and then you just lose interest. You have other interests like TV, film, girlfriends. You grow up
yeah,
and then you revert again, don't you?
yeah,
But what happened with me was that, well, again, I've told the story before, and I'm going to bore you with it, but it's Amanda's fault, really, because she ended up buying a comic collection for, I think it was 250 quid.
yeah.
And I think it was probably about 4,000 books, 5,000 books.
Wow.
And I said to you, I said, "What are you doing wasting 250 quid for?" I said, "That's a lot of money." She said, "You don't even know what you're buying." I mean, she didn't know. She didn't even look at them. A guy had gone up to her and said, "Look, my brother's died. He collected comics. Do you want to buy it for 250 quid?" She went, "Yeah." And now, don't get me wrong. In that collection, there's a lot of annuals like Beano annuals, Dandy, and all that, and
Yeah,
Top and chips, and
the
a lot
dreaded.
of British
Yeah,
stuff, which for me isn't a collectible item. It is
yeah,
collectible, not for me. It wasn't my. But it was when I was starting to go on eBay and looking at seeing the values in some books. I couldn't believe it. As some of these books, the prices in them. And this was before the big price increase. And this was probably about 7-8 years ago, mate.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is before. So this would be mid. So 2015, maybe 2014, something like that.
Yep.
And I found there was an ASM 101 in there.
Nice. First Morbius.
Yeah. First Morbius. There was Silver Surfer 4.
Yep.
Classic
cover, that is, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Lots of early Spider-Man, but ranging from, I think it was about 30 through to 70, something like that.
Yeah.
So straight away, you made your money back, no problem. But one of the best comics that was in there for me was Batman 181, which was
beautiful.
the first Poison Ivy.
Yeah.
And it was in really good condition. I sent it off to CGC, and it was before I'd heard of pressing and cleaning. I didn't really know what I was doing.
Yeah.
So I just sent it off as a raw book, and it came back as a 6.5.
Wow.
Yeah, and I thought retrospectively thinking, if that had been cleaned and pressed, that could have been like an 8, maybe.
Yeah. Wow.
But again, I didn't know much about comics, so I think I sold that probably for 100 quid, 150 quid, because I thought that was a good price at the time. So yeah, you live and learn. But that's really how I got back into it. It was Amanda's fault. And then I got the bug things, and I go into Forbidden Planet and look online at comics, and then I'd look at Sad Lemon, Slab City Comics, so all these different avenues where they were selling these amazing covers and books, and I was getting really sort of sucked in, really.
Into it, yeah.
And as I said before, spending hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of pounds. I think
it's fair to say that you had a bit of
one year. Yeah, I must have spent at least 40,000, 50,000 pounds on comics in 1 year.
Wow.
Easy.
Wow, I've got
so I ended up going to debt with it, mate, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
I'll be perfectly honest with you. I was addicted.
Yeah.
And that's my problem. I think it is an addictive thing, because it was at the time it was the collector in me saying, I've got to have this book. I had FOMO that you couldn't even believe.
Yeah, fear of missing out.
And I was really struggling, and even to a point where and that's why again then I started doing the videos, and I thought, well, if I'm getting told off by the wife for buying comics, I'm gonna get video evidence if there's any abuse. So so I started doing YouTube because of that as well. So it is, comics are addictive.
Yeah. So what I'm kind of taking away from your whole this whole interview is that Amanda is responsible for the creation of your YouTube channel. Amanda is responsible for the success of the YouTube channel, and she also got you into comic collecting.
I know where this is going.
So I've got the wrong guest on, clearly. No. She's a lovely woman, and I'm sure she would say the same about you.
She's refusing to come on because she said she looks like a mess.
Oh, Amanda, is she literally to your side?
She's messaging me, but to be fair, I've got to look at that every day. So why have I got to do all this suffering all the time? People saying bring on Amanda.
She can come on, and we can mute. You can take the video down, but you can have the audio.
Blur her face up. Let's come in with a paper bag on her head.
I'm sure the audience want to see her. Look, bring on Amanda. Come on, Amanda.
I don't think she's going to come on.
That's right. It's okay. I take it personally, Tanner. Let's go on to the next question then, bud. So, you're a big horror fan. What is it about the genre that attracts you to it?
I like being scared shitless. I think. I think what it is, it's It's literally something that, for me, growing up as a youngster, right? I used to, and you're far too young for this, but there's possibly people in the chat that may remember this, guys, and let me know if you remember this. That on a Saturday night, you'd have on BBC Two, you'd have a horror double bill. So they would show old movies. There'd be like an old movie and a fairly recent movie, and they'd show things like Curse the Werewolf and The Ghoul with Peter Cushing and John Hurt. And I was addicted to it, and I used to love these horror films. I would have been probably about 10 or 11 at the time. We're talking about 1980 here, 1981. You probably weren't even born then, James. Annoyingly. No, I knew it yet. So back then, that's what really sort of got me into horror films. And then the VHS market came out, and my dad used to take me to video shops, and yeah, they used to have the 18 certificates on it, but he used to. I said, "Oh, can you get me lesbian vampire hunters or something like that?" And he'd go, "Yeah, no problem." So he just like hire that, zombie flesh eaters, Dawn of the Dead, lots of these really gross horror movies, which I love being frightened, and I that's always stuck with me. And as I've gotten older, it's perhaps maybe a certain amount of desensitization, but there's also I think lack of imagination being used, and a lot of filmmakers nowadays are not truly making you super scared. Now, there's the odd movie that comes out now and again that does scare me. I'm just trying to think of a recent one. I suppose I did quite like I don't know if you saw the film called The Black Phone. Have you seen that one?
Oh yeah, that was a brilliant film. Brilliant film with Ethan Hawke.
Really, yes, that's right. Yeah,
really good film.
He kidnaps the children, doesn't he?
Yeah, terrifying. Absolutely terrifying.
So that scared me.
Yeah, I tell you. So we really liked the like the Conjuring films and not the Insidious films.
Yes, yeah, that's right.
And
what's the one with the cine camera that was up in the attic? Sinister. Is that Sinister?
Sinister. That Ethan Hawke again. That was.
Yeah, that was horrible as well, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we were massive fans of them, and I think we saw the last one, the last Insidious at the cinema. And
right.
I don't know if it's like getting older or getting on a bit. I really didn't like feeling scared anymore. Like the, I didn't like. I just didn't like. I didn't like it. I genuinely didn't like it. No, I didn't like the feeling that knowing that something's going to happen. I used to live for it.
That. It's the suspense, isn't it? It's waiting for something to happen. I'm not a big fan of jump scares. Jump scares.
That's what. Yeah, I'm not. These jump scares that I'm primarily on about, because something's going to happen, but you're just waiting it. But now they're getting a bit clever, where they build it up to think there's a jump scare, and then they'll put it in at a point now where you just don't know when it's going to be.
Yeah, but then they bring it on.
Yeah.
Oh, hang on! Look who it is. Everyone's saying, "Where's Amanda? Where's Amanda?"
Grace, she's
in the chats. Oh. Do you want to kneel there?
Yeah.
Let's bring her on full screen. Hello. Thank you for joining us this evening.
You right?
I take it you. Yeah, you.
Yeah.
We're live now, by the way.
Okay.
Have you been out on the source? Have you?
No.
Where
are you going?
I don't know. No, I just went to see a friend. That's all.
You had a drink though, didn't you? Did you not have a drink?
I was driving.
Oh.
But I did try some Japanese plum wine, which was really nice.
Whose Japanese plums were they?
Well, everybody in the chat's going to be really happy that you're here, Amanda. Thank you for joining us.
Right.
Yeah, we were just saying about how I started comic collecting.
Why do you keep telling that story?
Well, James asked.
He knows, though.
Well, but
this is the audience.
He knows, but other people don't know.
They don't know.
This is the idea of how videos work, I believe it.
No, but Amanda, I was saying that basically Jason's YouTube channel, his comic collecting, is all pretty much down to you.
Yeah, and then I just sort of regretted it. Then I just sort of let him roll with it, I think.
Why? Why'd you regret it? Why?
Because you infiltrate, like I said, I use the word infiltrate.
Infiltrate?
Every single room of the house. It's just spreading.
Oh, he puts his stuff.
Yeah.
Sorry, I thought you meant. I thought, how can he infiltrate his own YouTube channel?
No. I mean, your YouTube channel, in fairness, is dying, isn't it, really, at the moment?
What is? What's
Like,
that?
according to his recent video.
Yeah. Well, you're not doing as much, are you?
Well,
Pete,
no.
thank you for joining us. He's
Hey,
only just jumped on
Pete.
now because he heard Amanda was on.
Look at
That's
Pete.
brilliant.
Hey, Pete. Well, listen, no, I haven't done many videos recently. I've already explained this to the guys at home. And I thank James for getting me to pull my finger out because he's the one that motivated me to do another video. And I told you that, didn't I?
Yeah, you did.
Yeah, so well done, Jimbo.
Very sweet. No, but I was saying to him earlier, Amanda, that it rather selfishly, it's because I enjoy his content. So, something to watch while I'm eating my cereal. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. If that's what floats your boat,
yeah. But I've just got to thank Pete for the super chat earlier. Pete, if you're still watching, thank you very much for that. I was very much
generous. Thank you.
Very generous. We've got a question for you here. Okay. Amanda can answer as well if she wants.
Yeah.
What's the best horror film you've watched recently and the worst? Gosh.
Do you know what? We haven't really watched much these days. Lately.
We saw The First Omen. We saw Immaculate.
Yeah, we did.
What have we seen recently? We
that's the thing. I can't remember.
Oh,
I know. I don't think it's that much movie. Like cinema-wise, it was Furiosa, wasn't it?
Yeah, but horror films though. It says horror film.
I've got to think back.
I'll tell you a film that I watched recently. That somebody, a good friend of mine, recommended it to me because I quite like a good western.
Right.
And I was recommended a film called Bone Tomahawk.
Oh, that's a few years old, that one, isn't it?
Yeah, is that Kurt Russell, isn't it?
Kurt Russell. It was absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
I loved how it literally transitioned from being like a western to a horror film.
Yes, I know.
It was.
I still got one down. Yeah.
You what? Sorry.
Isn't he someone hung upside down?
Yeah, that was the most horrific thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, I know. That was grim.
That was grim. Great movie though. Great movie.
I see Pete says that The Watched isn't very good. It's a shame because I am a big fan of Night Shyamalan. M. Night Shyamalan.
Oh yeah, same here. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has done some good films and some bad films, but I was kind of hoping to go and watch that and see what it's like. But Pete's put me off now.
What's that one that I really liked? Is it The Devil? Where they're
it's called Devil.
I've seen one. Yeah, that's a really good one.
When they're in the elevator.
Oh, that was a good film. Did you watch Late Night with the Devil?
Yes, enjoyed that.
That was a good film. Really enjoyed that. We saw that.
Oh, we watched The Sadness, didn't we?
Yeah, that's
like a zombie type thing, but it's quite.
Was that Japanese film?
No, I don't think it's Japanese.
Who was that? Korean?
I think it's Korean.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was really good. That was really
best horror film of all time.
Oh, there's too many for me.
Right, The Thing.
Yeah, I love The Thing.
Oh, yeah, John Carpenter.
You can't have the same thing as me.
Why not?
You have a different one.
Oh man!
Come on, think.
That is a great film.
For me, John Carpenter's The Thing. All pre-CGI, mate. All prosthetics, all special effects. Amazing. Incredible. Still stands up to this time now. Ken, what's your favourite film, buddy? Let us know.
I can't remember what it's called. What's that French one that we saw? And the Americans did another version of it, and it was awful.
I know the one you're on about.
Yeah.
With the shoe skins.
Yeah.
I can't remember the name of it now.
God.
It begins with M.
Martyrs.
Oh, okay.
It's gross. It's gross.
Speaking of John Carpenter, he's doing a signing, isn't he, at CGC?
Is he really?
Oh, we saw John Carpenter live, didn't we?
We saw him live playing music from the same themes. Where was that? Was that
Manchester?
Manchester.
Oh wow!
Yeah, and didn't he wink at you and point?
He did.
Wink? Yeah.
Are you sure he just wasn't blinking, Amanda?
He was. He wasn't having a seizure or anything.
Well, something like that.
Right. Well,
No,
I think it's rather fitting that Amanda's here because the next question leads into what is your most prized possession?
You're going to see the dog, aren't you?
Yeah, I guess so.
Okay, I knew it.
Well, I'm just trying to think of like other things that I might have in the house that I love, but it might just be the dog.
No, what about that Marvel, that Hulk battles in humans?
Oh, the canvas.
Canvas.
Yeah, I have that.
Do you want to talk about it?
Well, it's just.
You want to go get it? Come on, go get it.
It's huge.
Well,
You can't, mate. It's huge.
I'm only joking. I'll say joking.
If you look at that, right, it's like that.
Spider-Man's crotch, yeah.
But that's obviously a Spider-Man one, signed by Stan Lee, and you've got it's the Hulk annual #1, isn't it? The king size. Oh shit!
Oh, that's right. Move.
What's happened?
Right.
What is going on here?
I knocked the phone off.
If I do it a certain way, they might be able to look at your shorts or something.
Hey, watch it.
I just saw a crusty sock down there, mate. What's all that about?
That's my special sock.
And you pulled your lead out as well, guys. What is going on? This is the type of. This is the type of. They call themselves professionals. They're amateurs, absolute amateurs.
Did you really get scared when I banged on the window as well?
Yes, I did.
He did. He got very scared.
I have to look back at that and see what you look like.
Well, no, because you shouldn't have done that.
What was that?
It's funny.
What is that, Jason?
What's what, mate?
I just saw a large piece of flesh then.
Oh, that's my cock.
Oh, God.
Obviously, we're zoomed in.
Right. Ken has said that his favourite horror film is Dracula's Peter Cushing from
Oh, yes. Is that... Right, I don't know what's going on here now, man.
You're all blurry.
It's blurry because it's focusing on that. Right, let's try this.
Guys, I'm not joking. I just saw the reflection in the window and there's somebody else in the room with you.
You what?
Is it my head?
Oh, no, it was just Amanda, sorry.
Oh, it's Amanda's head.
I'm
sorry about that, guys.
It looks a different colour.
We look a different colour?
Well, in the reflection. I was just trying to freak you out.
Weird,
But that brings me on to another question. What has ever happened to you guys were going to start like a paranormal adventures YouTube channel? You bought all the kit.
Yeah.
You wanted to be ghost hunters.
Yeah, I know. I can't keep using the excuse of life gets in the way because you can make time for things if you really want to do it.
Yeah.
But I think it's still something that we want to do. It's kind of on the back burner. You went on a ghost walk recently, or ghost hunt recently, didn't you?
Yeah, I won a ghost walk. It's a paranormal investigation.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, that's not a ghost walk, Jason. That's a legit thing.
Yeah, I know.
But it wasn't very exciting.
Why?
I've got to be honest. It was a bit boring. I was a bit bored.
And you fell asleep.
I did have a little power nap on the stairs. I did. It was like an old church.
Is that because you were waiting for all sorts of sounds, a creaky?
I was just tired.
Yeah.
Oh, you're tired.
I just found a quiet.
You pay money to see a ghost and you fall asleep.
I know. The weirdest thing about that night was just this one.
The camera's there.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, can you stop? Stop looking at that. The camera's there.
Oh, I can't. That's stupid, isn't it?
Look at that.
Oh, yeah. So the weirdest thing was this one girl that was on there because there's something I know that wasn't right with her.
What do you mean wasn't right?
You know, when you meet people and you just think, there's something off about you.
Do you think she was possessed by a ghost?
There was just something going on.
What, demonic, you mean?
No, no.
Or was she special?
But there was she's not someone you'd want to hang out with, I don't think.
What, she wasn't a nice person, or?
No, she taught.
She was a different class.
Huh?
She was a different class to you? Like social class or?
Yeah.
No, nothing like that. You must have met people before where you just think, I'm just.
Something off about them.
Yes, there's something not just quite right about them.
Yeah.
And then I got offered to go in the basement with her and do this where you just sit down in the dark for 10 minutes. And I was like, no.
Wandering hands?
No, well, around my neck. She just wasn't right.
Right. Oh,
but that ghost hunt wasn't. That was a bit boring. Nothing happened really.
But there's another one coming up soon, isn't there?
There's always one coming up. But,
yeah, because I'd like to do one with you, but obviously with my knee, we'll have to think about
what.
Well, I'm only doing investigations downstairs. I wouldn't be able to go upstairs.
Well, then you can't come. What's the point in going and just staying downstairs? That's
okay.
stupid.
Right. Just leave me downstairs on my own.
Yeah.
Get Jason get attacked by a ghost by himself.
Yeah, I wouldn't care.
I would pay money to see you guys hunting ghosts.
Well, it'd be like this. It'd just be she's not going to leave you at the bottom of the stairs, and she'll fuck off upstairs and with a torch, and I'll be there scared on my own downstairs. That would be it.
The thing is, I'm brave in a group. Not
but if you're by yourself, you'd just run a mile.
Yeah,
it's completely different. Completely different.
And the problem is, like with some of these ghost hunts and whatever, it's sometimes it's like your imagination that gets better at you as well. You know.
Well, I think that's what when I've been on like a ghost tour or hunt or whatever you would call it. I think you put in the dark and your senses are heightened, and every little creak, every little something. You did you hear that? Did you hear that? And you're just like, well, I don't know if I did hear it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
That's right. Your mind starts playing tricks on you. It's all about the atmosphere, isn't it?
Dark. Yeah. If you just sat there with the lights on, you'd be like, no, I didn't hear anything. Or you'd be like, oh, that was that's the fridge down there making that weird sound. Or
Yeah, but people pretend as well, don't they?
Yeah.
It's just like, oh God, like we did the Ouija board, and it just spelt something out, just something crappy. And this girl sort of like had a meltdown. Oh my God, it's talking about me. And I'm thinking, no, it wasn't.
But you know when someone's pushing it as well, don't you? Because you're not doing it.
Yeah.
And you think, well, if I'm not doing it and you're not doing it.
And the thing is, I wouldn't cheat because I don't see the point.
Well, what's the point?
In making something
There's no point. There's no point.
And if it's not there, it's not there.
No, absolutely. Because you're not getting anything from it.
No.
What's the point?
No. Like half the time, I don't think there is much there anyway.
No.
Do you know what I mean? And they will always say at these places, oh, it's the most haunted place in Britain, it's the most haunted place in Wales.
Oh, but do you think part of it is you can't just switch on something like that, any sort of spiritual activity? It'll come when it comes, and you can't force it.
No, I don't think you can.
No.
I think my biggest problem is I just do not, I'm sorry, but I just don't believe there's anything else after life.
Well, perhaps you have to come on a ghost hunt with us then, mate.
No, I would love to, because I'd purely just be there for...
That doesn't necessarily prove life after death, does it?
No, because ghosts could...
Well, ghosts are different, aren't they?
Well, I think what a ghost is, I think it's almost like a projection of a past event. So, like, the walls are like... the stones on the walls, they absorb an energy and they release it. Stone tape theory, yeah.
But that's true, because all buildings will absorb the energy.
And I think that what it is, when you see people walking through walls, that's because it wasn't a wall at the time; it was a doorway, but it's being projected. That's what I think. That's my personal opinion.
Well, I'll tell you what you can do then, James, to prove life after death. When you come down to our neck of the woods, I'll take you to the spiritualist church and we'll
have a sing song.
No.
What do you have to sing?
Have a reading with a medium or something.
Okay, I would love to do that, but I would like no information told to the medium.
That's the thing, isn't it?
But that never happened. That won't happen.
No. What do you mean?
That wouldn't happen.
It would. No, it would happen.
What would happen?
He said he doesn't want people to know
anything about
any information about him.
Well, who's going to know him?
That's what he's saying.
Yeah. But that's why I say it wouldn't happen.
Well, the way you said it wouldn't happen is that it would happen. Do you know what I mean?
Or I'll give you a reading. We'll set.
But you know me, so you know
you've got two children.
No, it doesn't. No.
Yeah, you.
No, because obviously, well, you know that I'm into it and I'm doing like mediumship courses and everything.
Yeah.
If I gave you a reading, it'd be my job to give you information, stroke evidence that I wouldn't possibly know, because there's lots of things that have happened in your life and your parents' lives and your grandparents' lives that I don't know about.
Yeah.
So that's the thing.
I think if you could come up with something that there's absolutely no way that anyone else could know apart from James,
yeah, exactly.
then that's fair enough.
Yeah. That would make me believe.
Yeah.
As the old X-Files saying goes, I want to believe, but I just need to see the evidence.
Yeah, the truth is out there.
The truth definitely.
Truth is out there.
The tooth is out there.
Hello, baby.
Said the dentist.
So, answer to that question, Jason, your most prized possession is clearly Amanda.
It's my wife.
No, it's not.
Yeah. Although she's not a possession, she's an equal part of this.
Yeah. Well,
it's debatable.
I think she's possessed by something. Moving on. Next question, please.
Yep. Next question. Right. Okay. This is an interesting question. As a comic seller, what do you think of selling applications such as Whatnot? Have you ever considered going on there to sell, or
you did, or you went to buy, didn't you? You bought stuff off Whatnot.
Spoiler. So my initial thoughts about Whatnot is that I wasn't a huge fan.
Yeah,
especially after the whole, Comic Tom, Gem Mint, Nerdy Girl fiasco at one of the Comic Cons, and
a few years back. Yeah,
remember that Ultimate 4 Acetate Gate and all that shit.
Yeah,
and they were all Whatnot sellers, and it seemed like they were getting preferential treatment and using their status to get things. I didn't like that. I didn't like the way he went about it, and I was offered to become a seller.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago, and I said no, I wasn't going to have anything to do with it. But as time goes on, only recently, in the last month, and Sean, if he's in the chat, can probably attest to this, that I started going on Whatnot and buying stuff.
Yeah.
I think you can pick up some real bargains on Whatnot.
Yeah.
But I think you've also got to separate the wheat from the chaff, because there's some absolutely fucking terrible people on Whatnot that purport to be selling stuff, but all they're doing is talking about stuff that they're probably going to end up keeping. And you know who I'm on about, James. I can't remember. I'm not going to mention him.
I go now.
No. But what I will say before you get delve a bit further into this is there are some good sellers. So you've got Ilson Comics, you've got Sean Manning's Mystery Box UK,
absolutely,
got, or Comic Box UK. Sorry,
Fancy Comics are good.
Cole Collects. You've got Comic Keys. There's so many. So many decent sellers on there, and to be fair, I do feel for them, because it is the stuff that is going. It's going for a lot cheaper than what it would be on eBay or other platforms to sell.
But my very first experience of Whatnot was you introduced me to this person, and they said,
whoa. That was the first time I'd seen them.
No, I know, and you pointed out that they were selling slabs.
Yeah.
Let's go on there. So we go on there.
We both watched it together.
Minutes later, 40 minutes.
Yeah.
Right. He'd not sold one thing and was still talking about. He did an unboxing.
Yeah. So, which was really strange, because it was basically he was almost using it as a social media. I don't know if that's what it's meant for. I presumed it was for selling comics, but he was using it as like a social media platform for a CGC unboxing. But he was going on about these books, saying about, I had them pressed and cleaned by the best person in America. I've got these books in pristine condition. They've come back from CGC. Let's find out the grades together. And then when he was unboxing them, the grades. I mean, there was a couple decent grades.
Yeah, but the only couple decent grade ones, he said, I'm not going to sell those. I'm going to keep them for myself. The ones with shit grades he wanted to sell. And when we looked at GPA, he was trying to sell them for more than double than what they were worth.
Yeah. And
his excuse was, I've got to make my money back, because I've had to have them cleaned, I've had to have them pressed, I've had to send them to CGC, I've had to pay for postage.
Yeah.
Mate, that's a you problem, not a me problem.
Yeah. 100%. It was so bizarre. And I literally, I could not believe what I was watching. It was just crazy, and I think we even, I mean, we even, I think I commented and said, have these books actually been pressed and cleaned? Because why would you even send them off? Why would you want a 7.0 of a book that should be, you'd want in the high 9s?
Yeah, because you're not going to get any benefit from being in a 7.0.
There's no point of it being slabbed.
No, the value of it is,
unless you're slabbing it to preserve it for yourself because you want to keep that book because it holds.
He wasn't, was he? Because he was looking to sell.
He was trying to sell them for double or triple the value of them. It was crazy.
Yeah. I mean, it's ridiculous. He needless to say, he didn't sell one comic in that show that he did, and that was the very first show that I saw. So it didn't really.
It didn't leave a good
ingratiate me too well into the world of whatnot. However, subsequent channels I've been on have been great. I haven't had any trouble with any other comic sellers. They've been brilliant. Everyone I've bought off from have been great. They've sent me the books. You're able to track it. They're pretty quick. Some are quicker than others, but I have no complaints about them at all. Everyone I bought off have been fantastic. But this one guy that I didn't buy anything from, I thought, what are you doing, mate?
Yeah, I would. Yeah, I would. Not going to say name any names, but it was a terrible, terrible show. But what I will say, what's good about it is that, well, like you said, you can track, you can see what you've bought.
Yeah, you can look back. Although one criticism is that some sellers show the actual book because they'll pre-show, they'll type in the name of the book, or they'll show it as Bookie Wookie 1, Bookie Wookie 2.
Yeah.
And that makes it difficult for me to remember what I bought. So
no, but if you should be able to go back on the video and see your purchase on the receipt if you've won it.
Right, okay.
You might not have found that part, but that's good about it. But it's like we were talking earlier about like a bit of having an addiction to comic book collecting.
Yeah,
it is dangerous for you watching. I've watched plenty of times, and I've randomly bought books I would never even dream of buying just because they've been up for so cheap.
Yeah, and it's too convenient, isn't it?
Yeah, and the money goes straight off your card. You can't. There's no complaints. And once you buy one book, you pay the £2.70 postage for an extra penny or whatever it is for the next book.
The next book's postage.
You think, well, you might as well buy some more books because that's the dangerous part of it.
Yeah. No, that's right. But you're right. You do get some real good bargains there. So to answer your question, I'm kind of converted.
Yes.
To whatnot. I do quite like it. I don't know if I'd ever go down the route of selling on whatnot.
What I have noticed though is when I've watched these shows, it's always the same people buying, and they tend to be other sellers buying.
Yeah, and then they sell loads then. So it's just going round on their own. Yeah.
So it's just going round and round and round.
Yeah, that does happen.
But nothing against the way those people are buying those books or whatever. But I only really go on trusted sellers on there. So it'd be like Sean Manning, Comic Keys, Ilson Comics, Cole Collects, people that I know, and I'll only watch those ones. I won't watch the other ones because I don't know them.
No, that's fair enough.
But it's one of the things. So Jason, what is your next big purchase you're after? You got your eye on anything big?
I've got my eye on that. I think it's Crime Suspense 22. I think it's Crime Suspense or Shock Suspense 22 with Decapitated Head. That's what I would really like to get next, mate.
Oh yeah.
But I think you're talking around about £5,000. So what's that? $7,000 for, and that's for a very low grade copy.
Yeah,
like a 1.5 or 2.0.
Wow,
it's so collectible. There's one as well. I can't remember, mate. Have you seen the one with the cocktail glass? The woman holding the cocktail glass, and her face behind the glass is like a skull.
Yeah, isn't that Chamber of Chills?
Chamber of Chills, number 13.
Yes, that is an amazing. That book is super expensive, but that is an amazing
beautiful
comic.
cover again. But
do you remember years ago when there was a very slight chance that either one of us could have owned that book? Do you remember? There was somebody contacted us, and I want to say they were like from Germany or something, and they sent us a list of comics of what they had, and there was a Chamber of Chills on there, and he wanted it for really like quite cheap. The value was. I remember talking to him for ages about it, but then he realised how much it was to sell. I think had you bought the whole collection, you would have got that book relatively quite cheap.
Yeah.
But yeah, so amazing book if you could get that, mate.
Yeah.
Hello, folks. Two great-looking persons there, even better people. Thank you.
Look who it is.
Thank you very much.
Good to see you, buddy.
Although, to be fair, I don't feel like I'm looking my best in the slightest, but I feel like I look like absolute trash.
Well, that's good because you make me look better. So,
no, well, Jason, I really, really wish you well with that next purchase. And the last question of the evening is: tell us an interesting fact about yourself.
I've only got one kidney.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
There you go.
Is there a story behind that, or
well, kind of? Yeah.
It's not on the black market somewhere, is it?
Kind of. 20. It must be about 25 years ago now, maybe something like that. My dad was in a sort of he had a kidney disease, and I offered to give him one of my kidneys, basically. So I gave him my kidney, which gave him, because he was going on to dialysis, and it gave him a really good 7 to 8 or 9 years extra with a good full quality of life, which was wonderful. Obviously, he subsequently passed away about 9-10 years after the kidney. But by doing that, it gave him he was able to do what he loved doing, go out and about, not tied to a dialysis machine or anything like that. So it gave him a brand new kidney. So yeah.
How did that make you feel?
Oh, I was really pleased. I was really yeah, and I'll never forget. His operation was a lot more straightforward than mine because they had to go through the ribs, protected cage to get to my kidney. Whereas what they did with my dad is that they kept his kidneys where they were, and they just plumbed in this extra kidney round by his bladder, basically. And so he was able to come out of hospital a lot sooner than I was.
Oh, wow.
And the funny thing was, I remember him coming in to visit me in hospital with grapes, which he'd eaten half of them. And
well, he was a patient a few days before, wasn't he?
Yeah. And he said, thanks for the kidney. He said, my wee's a normal colour now.
Oh.
And I thought, that's a weird thing to say, but a nice thing because the kidney was working,
Yeah.
So,
no, that must have felt like an incredible feeling of what you did for your father there. That was very, very generous.
Yeah,
of you,
and people often say to me, did you think twice about it? I didn't think twice about it.
No, of course.
I just wanted to do it no matter what, and my other brothers were up for it as well. But I was the best match. We had to go through all these tests, and I was just glad I was able to give him some an extra quality of life for a few years. Yeah, absolutely, well worth it, mate.
Well, mate, I did not know that. That's a fantastic story. Thank you for sharing that with us.
All right, there you go.
Mate,
you are an unusual thing.
Yeah, I was going to say it's you are practically a real life superhero for doing that. That is a very honourable, selfless thing.
Well, thank you. It's very kind of you to say so, but I don't see it as, I don't.
This is where you're going to tell me he paid you $100,000 for it.
Yeah, it was worth every penny. But no, like I say, I don't even dwell on it. Don't think about it at all. It's just one
Yeah.
of those. Oh, thanks, Jen. Thank you, lovely. Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Just thought I'd
Wow.
share that fact with you.
Well, we are at the hour and 50 minutes mark, so I just want to thank everybody who's stuck with us. We've still got 13 people watching. Jason, it has been an absolute privilege to have you on the show tonight. I thank you for your friendship, your kindness, and your entertainment that you provide everybody on YouTube. I hope you keep at it.
I will.
Because it is.
If I told you, you're going to come down on me like a ton of bricks. I know.
Yeah, I know where you live, mate. So I'll be the one knocking on the window, scaring the shit out of you.
Yeah, you come around, break my one good kneecap.
God. No, I really appreciate it, buddy. And I hope everybody who's been watching has enjoyed this this episode of Jason. This is your life, according to Ian Carr. Do you remember that?
That was my wife.
Pete's show is eerily similar to, because that has the thing at the beginning. Remember, for the, this is my
yeah, that's
brilliant,
right.
nice. No, but thank you everybody for watching. Really appreciate it, and I hope you're enjoying these interviews that I'm conducting with people within the community. And Jason,
and thanks for having me on. It's really appreciated, buddy. Thank you. And
no,
I really mean it. My friendship to you is everything. So thank you.
Yeah, I always say this. We talk about this loads, but if we just throw on the go live and just chat, shoot the shit, people would probably enjoy just hearing a normal conversation that we're having.
Yeah, some of the best conversations are behind the scenes ones as well, aren't they?
Yeah, and it's always been the way. But
yeah,
we've got great show. Thank you for sharing your story, Jason, and thank you both for the video. Thanks, Ken.
Thanks,
Great
Ken.
show.
Appreciate that, buddy.
But we'll call it a good night, everybody. And you can look. Jason has got a video you released of I can't remember what the name of the story is, but it's in Cardiff. It's in the market, isn't it, or the indoor market?
Galactic, yes, Toy Story.
Yeah. We have got a question before we go. Have you got any sale events coming up soon, Jason? Ooh.
Hey, John. Yeah, I am going to be selling comics in Newport on the, I think it's the 26th of June. 27th. It's a Saturday, so it's 26th.
It's the 27th, maybe, or 20. Oh no, 28th. Is it 28th?
Maybe the 20th. And there's one in July as well, which is throwing me a curveball. But there's also one in. Is it on the 14th
of July?
July as well. Yeah.
Yeah. So that's Q's Comic Mart in Hereford is going to be on the 14th of July, which both myself and Jason will be attending.
It's great because it's like just all sorts of people there, but mainly comics, and it's just great. It's great fun.
Yeah. Jason, you also have started restocking your website, www.jasonparkercomics.com.
I forgot about the websites, yeah. And again, thank you. I want to thank you so much for getting me to pull my finger and but sorting it all out for me. You're my IT guy, mate. You really are. You're fantastic.
I'm Jason's guy in the chair, as they would say.
You are. Yeah, you are. You're fantastic. But I've loaded some stock on now, so go over to jasonparkercomics.com, and I put mainly like £2 comics on there, but there's some like £5, £7. But have a look. Take a browse. jasonparkercomics.com.
You might just find something you've been looking for or not looking for. Yeah. But no, thank you, everybody.
To go on. That's not all that's on there. There's literally, I think there's only about 40 or 50 books on there at the moment, but I'm going to be putting loads on. So,
yeah, I think we had to remove a lot of the stock because of you going to events to sell, didn't we? So,
yeah, silly idiot.
No, don't worry about it. Don't worry. But no, we'll see you guys next time. Enjoy your evening. I hope we haven't kept you from the football. I don't even know what the result is. I presume Germany won. But
Germany, Scotland.
Yeah.
I don't know what the results is. We have to find out.
When's Wales' first game?